Can you see this slide?
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So my voice is it audible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, fine. So today we will be discussing about the application of monoclonal antibodies. Okay. So in the
Okay.
last class we have discussed what is meant by monoclonal antibodies. So just it's a recapitulation of earlier class. So we would say that monoclonal antibodies. So they are just write it right here. So it's the short. So monoclonal antibodies are the antibodies that are specific for a single epitope of an antigen. Okay, that was the monoclonal antibodies. Okay, so we have two types of antibodies. We call it monoclonal antibody and we call it polyclonal antibody. So polyclonal antibody means is a mixture of the antibodies just specific for different epitopes in an antigen. Okay, and the monoclonal antibody means it is a homogeneous antibody. Okay, it's the same antibodies, similar antibodies which are specific for all are specific for one type of epitope. So we call it monoclonal antibody. Poly means many, so they are specific for many epitopes, and the monoclonal means they are specific for a single epitope of an antigen. That is called monoclonal antibodies. Okay, so now we need to discuss that why we use the monoclonal antibody and what is the application. So first application, that is immunodiagnosis. So immunodiagnosis means diagnosis of a disease or detection of a disease causing organism, okay, using immunological method. Okay, so when you use the immunological method, okay, for diagnosis of a disease or diagnosis of a organism in a sample, clinical sample, we call it immunodiagnosis. It may be ELISA, it may be slide agglutination test, anything. Okay. Now, where this immunodiagnosis is used? So the immunodiagnosis can be used for detection of specific serotype of a bacteria or virus. So now we need to understand what is meant by serotype. So now in a bacteria, just say bacteria. Okay. So in the bacteria, what we know is that in case of bacteria, first we have the genus. Okay. Then under the genus, we have the species. Okay. Now below the species, we have the serotype. Okay. So below the species, we have got the serotype. Okay, fine. Okay. Now this serotype, the same thing in case of virus. So viruses also the pattern goes in the same way. So the classification of the virus goes in the same way. Virus they have the genus, then below the genus they have the species, okay, and then they have the serotypes. So sero means the word sero here. The sero actually it comes from word serum. Okay, fine. So now what is this? See, we can identify the species of a bacteria using different types of techniques. We can use, say, the cultural media, biochemical test, or we can do the PCR to detect the genus and species. But for detection of serotype, we will have to use the antibodies. Okay. Now, these serotype actually, these are specific for a one epitope. Say, for example, let me give you an example. Supposing that this is a FMD virus. Now, this is another FMD virus. Okay. So now these two FMD virus, okay, say this is an epitope in an FMD virus. The similar epitope is present in this FMD virus also. Structure is similar. let us assume that this particular serotype, of FMD virus, it is say Asia1. Okay? And this particular serotype is the O serotype of FMD. This Asia1 serotype of FMD virus, this is the O serotype of FMD virus. Now these two viruses, they look similar because their epitopes are similar. When you have a sample that contains the FMD virus, okay, so you cannot differentiate whether it is O or A because their structures are similar. But among the similar epitopes, okay, these viruses, they have at least one epitope that is different. Say this Asia1, this has got this epitope, and O has got this epitope. Okay, then it has got this particular epitope, then it has got this particular epitope. Okay, then it has got say this particular epitope. It is also having this particular epitope. So what you find is that among different epitopes, okay, so you find that this epitope and this epitope, they are similar. Then this epitope and this epitope, they are also similar. So this one and this one, that is also similar. What is different here is that, so this particular epitope is different. Here, this is different, and here, this is different. Okay. So now we can use the monoclonal antibody that is specific for this epitope. So what we will do, let us assume that I'll put some color here. Say this is the epitope, and this one is the epitope of Asia1. This is the epitope of O serotype in the FMD virus. Okay. So now what we will do, we will use the monoclonal antibody, okay, that is specific for this particular epitope. Okay. So when we will put this in the, we have a sample, and if this antibody gets attached, okay, this antibody will get attached here. So we understand that our FMD that we are having in the sample, it is a O serotype, because this particular antibody will not go and bind here. Okay, so we take a sample, we use a monoclonal antibody specific for O serotype. So what will happen? This will go and bind. If it does not bind, that means it is not O serotype. If it binds, so it is O. Now we found that we put this antibody, and then this antibody did not bind anywhere. That means our serotype is not O. Then what we will do? We'll use a monoclonal antibody that is specific for the epitope present in the Asia1. So this antibody will go and bind here. Okay. So we will understand that, okay, if it binds here, that means this is Asia1. So that means if I tell in another way, so just simple way, supposing that this is a sample we have, okay, and here this is a slide we have, and this is the sample, okay, clinical sample. Okay, so first of all, we put the antibody, first of all, we put the antibody that is specific for O serotype. If we put it over here, we find that the antibody did not react. That means our sample does not have the FMD of O serotype. Then we will put the antibody of Asia1. If it goes and bind, if it reacts with the sample, this means the sample is having the FMD serotype O. You understanding? So what we'll have to do, we got a sample, okay. Then in that sample, first of all, we take the antibody, monoclonal antibody specific for say FMD serotype O. Put it over there, and you find that there is no reaction. That means your sample does not have the FMD O type. Then you bring another monoclonal antibody. Now this another monoclonal antibody is specific for Asia1. Put it over there, okay, no reaction. That means this FMD virus is not Asia1. Then you bring another antibody that is specific for say Asia2. Put it over there, it reacted. That means this FMD is Asia 2. You know that FMD virus has got 5 serotypes: Asia 1, Asia 2, Asia 3, OA, and C. C is quite rare, OA. Okay, fine. So likewise, we can identify the serotype, which serotype of FMD virus you have, I mean, which serotype of any virus you have in your sample. So this is how you can find out the serotype of a bacteria or a virus. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Then we go to the next thing. Okay. Then the this monoclonal antibody, they can be used for detection of tumor cells expressing tumor specific antigens. Okay. Now you see, they, in your body, okay, we have different types of cell. Okay. Say you have a cell. This is one cell. This is another cell nearby. Okay. This is another cell nearby. Okay. So likewise, these are the cells that present in our body in this form of a tissue. Okay. So I would say that this is a tissue. Okay. Fine. So let's copy it. Now these are the different cells. Okay. Fine. Now supposing that among these cells, okay, so I suppose that this particular cell, it has become tumorous. Okay. Now, what is the difference between a normal cell and tumorous cell? Tumorous cell, they divide
Divide.
in uncontrolled manner. That is called uncontrolled multiplication of the cells. See, in this example, the other cells, they will their they will also divide, but their division is controlled division. They will multiply, but their multiplication is controlled. But this particular tumor cell, its multiplication is uncontrolled. Okay. But the problem is the tumor cell and a normal cell, they look similar. You cannot differentiate them. There are few differences, but it is very difficult to find out the differences. Okay. So now what happens? The tumorous cells, how can you identify? Okay. So the tumor cells, if I just go back to another. So in case of tumor cells, say you have, this is a normal cell, okay, and let us assume that this one is the tumor cell. Okay, so I would write it here. So this is a normal cell, and I would say that this is a tumor cell. Okay, so both the cells, they belong to the same tissue. They look similar, but if you look into it, you will find that in the cell, the tumor cell, they express some antigen, okay, which is not present over here. Okay, so what happens? These tumor cells, okay, on their surface, they will be expressing some kind of antigens, okay, which is not present in the normal cell. Okay, so in this case, if you see my presentation, it says the detection of tumor cells expressing tumor specific antigens. Okay, that means this red color antigen that is present on the cell surface, this is a tumor specific antigen. That means this antigen is expressed only in the tumor cells. So what we can do, we can use the monoclonal antibody. Okay, say we can use the monoclonal antibody, okay, and we can find out that which cell is having the this tumor. So this antibody will not bind the normal cell, because normal cell does not express antigen, this tumor specific antigen. So this antibody will go and it will bind the tumor specific antigen. Okay, so from that you will come to know that okay, this cell is tumorous. So if I go back to my earlier board, say in all these cells, okay, only this particular cell is tumorous. Okay, so when you will use the antibody, okay, specific for the tumor cells. Okay, what will happen? This particular antibody will go and it will bind here. It will not bind other cells. So from that, that's how you will come to know that this particular cell is a tumorous cell, because you have seen that your monoclonal antibody is specific for the tumor specific antigen. Okay, it bound here on. It will not bind it itself because these are normal cells. Okay, am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
so let's go ahead. Another application of monoclonal antibodies, monoclonal antibodies as an immunotherapy. Okay, what is that? So monoclonal antibody that is tagged with a cytotoxin called immunotoxin is used to kill a tumor cell. Immunotoxin monoclonal antibodies are specific for a tumor antigen. When injected, monoclonal antibody gets bound to the tumor cell, and as a result, the toxin bound to the monoclonal antibody acts on the tumor cell that eventually kills the cell. So let me give the explanation here. So in this case, what is done? So this is an antibody. Okay. So you have studied in the immunology that antibody. Okay. So this portion and this portion. Okay. This portion and this portion. So this portion, it is called FC portion. F FC portion. And this portion, it is called FAB portion. So FAB portion is this portion, and this portion is called FC portion. Okay. So now in this case, what happens? So in this case, what is done? In the FC portion, okay, one kind of toxin is tagged. This is a cytotoxin. So this is the cytotoxin. Cyto means cell. Toxin means poison. So this particular toxin is poisonous to the cell, and it is attached to the FC portion of the monoclonal antibody. Okay. Now what will happen? So now you have, let me use the same green. Okay. So this is a normal cell. Okay. This is also this is another cell. Okay. So now let us assume that this particular cell is a cancerous cell that is expressing the cancer specific antigen. Okay, fine. Now what you have done, you have used an antibody. Okay, you have used an antibody. Okay, that contains the immunotoxin in the FC portion. So this particular antibody will go and bind here. This antibody will will sorry. So this particular antibody will come and it will bind this antigen. Okay. So once it binds this antigen, so what will happen? The toxin present in the FC portion, okay, this particular toxin present in the FC portion, this will go and kill the cell. The thing is that this toxin will not kill these normal cells because this antibody is not attached to the normal cell. This antibody is in contact with the tumor cell only. Okay, so that is why the toxin present in the Fc portion will kill the cell. Okay, so this is what we call immunotherapy. That means, in simple way, you have a tumor cell and you have an antibody. On its Fc portion, you have a toxin. This antibody will go and bind the tumor cell, and it binds the toxin present over here will kill the cell because it is in contact with the cell. Okay, this toxin cannot kill the healthy cells because to healthy cells the antibody is not going and binding. It is not binding them. The antibody is binding only the tumor cells because tumor cells only they are expressing the tumor specific antigens. So this is how the tumor cells will be killed. Okay, so this is what is the immunotherapy. If you just read it out again, the monoclonal, sorry, the monoclonal antibody that is tagged with a cytotoxin. Okay, tagged means attached. Monoclonal antibody is attached with the cytotoxin called immunotoxin. Okay, so immunotoxin means the toxin attached to the antibody. It is called immunotoxin. Okay, it is used to kill a tumor cells. The immunotoxin monoclonal antibodies are specific for tumor antigen. Tumor antigen means the antigen present on the surface of a tumor cell. When injected, the monoclonal antibody gets bound to the tumor cell only. So, monoclonal antibody will not bind healthy cells; it will bind only the tumor cells. Okay, and as a result, the toxin bound to the monoclonal antibody, okay, will act on the tumor cell and eventually kill the cell. So the toxin present on the Fc portion of the antibody will kill the tumor cell. Okay. So the example is say monoclonal antibodies against the epitope CD20 that is expressed by leukemic B cells only. This way, the monoclonal antibody can mask the ill effects of the leukemic B cells. Now, here in this example, what it is saying is that say this is the normal lymphocyte, okay, B lymphocyte. Okay, now when this lymphocyte it becomes cancerous, so what happens? It starts expressing a kind of tumor specific antigen. So this antigen it is called CD20. Okay. So now CD20 is the tumor specific antigen or the protein present on the cell surface. Okay. Now this CD20 it causes harm to the system. Okay. It will start killing the other cells and all. Okay. Now in order to mitigate or in order to suppress the harmful effect of the CD20 present on the leukemic B cells. Leukemic means cancerous B cells. In order to mitigate, in order to prevent the harmful effect of the CD20 present on this surface of the lymphocyte, what we can do, we can use an antibody, okay, that is specific for the CD20. This antibody will go and bind the CD20. When the antibody is bound to the CD20 or the CD20 becomes inactive. Okay, so that means the CD20 okay present on the surface of a leukemic B cells okay, is active only when it is it means it is not bound by anything. Okay, now but when it is bound by an antibody. Okay. Comes. Okay. Fine. So the CD20 expressed by the leukemic B cells. This way the molecular antibodies will mask the ill effects of the leukemic B cells. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Clear? Okay. Then the third application is the immunohistochemistry. So in this case, you know the what is you have studied about the histology, okay, in anatomy. So you know that in histology we use one stain that is called uh, hematoxylin and eosin stain. Remember?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So hematoxylin and eosin stain. Okay. So hematoxylin it stains nucleus. It's a blue color. Eosin gives the pink color. Okay. HNE is commonly used. Okay. Now the thing is that when you use the HNE stain, okay, you can differentiate different cell types based on their morphology. Okay. But you see, there are some cells, okay, they are different cells. Okay. But morphologically, these cells are similar. Say, for example, okay, T helper cells. Okay. Fine. So let us say we have two types of cells. Okay. So both of these cells are T, T lymphocytes. Okay. Both of them are T lymphocytes. But one of them is the T helper, and second one is the toxic T. You see, both of the cells are T cells, but one is T helper cell and one is the cytotoxic T cell. Now, both of their functions are different. So, if you see them under microscope, you cannot differentiate it. So, what you can do, you can use the molecular antibody to see the difference. Say, for example, in this case, what is done? We use the antibody, okay? We use an antibody, okay, that contains a fluorescent dye. So say this particular antibody, it contains red color fluorescent dye. Fluorescent dye means once the antibody gets attached to the antibody, sorry, once the antibody gets attached to the antigen, this fluorescent dye will fluoresce, it will light. Okay. So let us assume that this particular antibody is for cytotoxic T lymphocytes. Okay, this one, second one. And let us assume that we have another antibody. Okay, so this particular antibody, it is specific for T helper cells. And then this antibody, it has got fluorescent dye of different color. Then what you do, just put the antibody, you just take the tissue cells and put this antibody, mixture of this antibody. What will happen? The cytotoxic T cell, okay, so this will be bound by this particular antibody, okay. Okay, before that, let me give you one more explanation. The T helper cells, okay, on their surface, they express a kind of antigen, so that is called CD4 antigen. Okay. On the other hand, the T cytotoxic T cell, it express another antigen on its surface that is called CD8. So CD8 antigen is present only in the cytotoxic T cell, and CD4 is present in the T helper cell. Okay. Now these antibodies, they are specific for this particular epitope. So CTL, this particular antibody, it will go and bind here. Once it binds over here, and this particular antibody, okay, it is specific for T helper cell, it will go and bind here. So once it binds here, so immediately after binding, this particular dye will fluoresce. So what will happen? You will find that this particular cell, this will appear green. Okay, you will find that this particular cell will appear green. Okay, on the other hand, this particular cell will appear red. It will appear red because the monoclonal antibody on this FC portion, it is having a red color dye, and this will appear green because the antibody has got green color dye. So you know that, say, what I'm saying is that you have an antibody that is specific for CD4 cell. To that antibody, just put the blue color dye, suppose, and you put it over there, then you will find that your cells have become blue. Or what you can do, you can use two antibody. One antibody, okay, specific for T helper cell, put blue color dye. Another antibody specific for T C cells or CTL, put the red color dye. Okay, fine. Then put it into the cells. Then you will find that those cells that looks red color, so they are CTL, and other who look blue, so they are T helper cell. Because you know by yourself that what dye you have added. Okay, fine. So that's how, this is what we call immunohistochemistry. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So hereby we come to the end of this class. Okay. So
Okay.